say, um, address the needs of a global citizenship or whatever we want to say.
Right. So
Yeah.
remember the very first pitch deck that I showed you all, and that's what um, our need is.
Hmm.
Citizens who lead with empathy, who are empathetic, multilingual, make up a cornerstone of society. Yet many don't have access to the paths to get there.
But I think that we can't, I think we do need to emphasize. Can you say that again? Because you triggered something. Say it again. Say what you just said again.
Okay.
You triggered something.
Multilingual, empathetic um, workers are cornerstones of a healthy society.
What I think it's missing, and we have to figure it out, but I think what it, in order to really make it, to validate it, I think we have to say something along the lines that it's education, it's an educated citizenship, global citizen. It's the educated global citizen.
Yeah, what does educated mean? Because multilingual, empathetic says a type of education that we're talking about, that we're trying to support.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this is
It's
what
kind
we
of like it's kind of like it's the idea around liberal arts, and you go back to the Greeks, right? It's the whole idea of, it's like all of these make the perfect, the Vitruvian man, right? I mean, or the what you call it, the no, I can't think of the right now what I'm thinking. But anyhow, it's like, oh, it's it's not just about reading and writing and arithmetic, whatever. It's this other piece that makes that perfect, that well-rounded, that complete,
right. If we wanted to create a persona who is the not who's I had lucky, so the student of the future.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
student of the future
Correct.
is our persona is multilingual, comfortable with people, interested, is empathetic, right? And
I do think 21st century skills, when they talk about 21st century skills, they do talk about lifelong learners,
lifelong learners, yeah. So
critical thinkers, problem solvers, those are 21st century criticals, and also collaborative, be able to collaborate,
right,
collaborate, work in groups, so therefore, this kind of completes that, it kind of, this curriculum here are 21st century skills based. I mean, it's just, that's
right.
that's
21st. So we talked about 21st century skills, being able to go out into the world, to be able to collaborate. And that means you have access to at least desire to learn a foreign language. So if you get plunked down in a group of French and Germans, you at least have the capacity to learn a bit, and you ask for a translated transcript, and then you can do your homework, and you have a desire and a capacity to learn.
I think we could talk about, and I've done a lot of this, but we could talk about, you have this toolbox. What tools are you missing in order to, succeed or, function really well in a globalized world, yeah, I mean, I think what's missing, what is, like, you need a bigger, stronger tool, it's in the toolbox, but it's not really given much, much time. It's
Right.
pushed back,
So that's, we offer those immersive experiences to give them most time. Oh dear, I'm afraid that Jack needed his mental health day this morning, or something happened. I just have to give a little feedback about Saturday. I did feel like the rug was pulled out just a little bit, and I understand you must have been zonked, and it was a I understand the choice.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but it's just I the the post production debrief is so valuable, and then when it gets put off, I guess.
hmm
But how are we to know that RBG was going to go? And I guess what I might have asked for is, and let me ask if this crossed your mind, to come on for just 15 minutes, finish it, and then go,
yeah.
and say that you know you have one nerve and that's all. But
Yeah.
we could have, you know, had some
hmm
fusion and debriefed very quickly, and then it was been done.
I hear you. I was so mentally exhausted. Like I was on the phone all morning, people crying all day, you know,
Yes. Oh, I'm so
and,
sorry.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
this one person I just found out an hour ago passed away last night. One
Oh, I'm
person. Yeah.
so
So
sorry.
yeah, so then the phone calls started again already today, you know, with friends.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I completely understand. What
yeah,
is it?
I just couldn't.
COVID? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. I mean,
I couldn't. I just couldn't, you
yeah.
know. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I just can't, you know. So I know. Then we have
No.
one more. My sister's husband is the next one, I'm sure. So we'll see.
Oh.
But
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand. Shifting gears
oh my God,
to
it
in
was.
and out of family. Yeah, I completely
Yeah, so
understand.
I apologize. I really do. It's like I go like I just can't. I just can't. You know.
No,
So
I mean that would have, yeah.
couldn't focus. It's like I couldn't focus. You know. So.
Yeah, and just going there. Okay.
Well, do
Okay.
you want to debrief right now though? Because let's debrief right now. Because you know.
Well, I mean, I want Jack to be there. And so we were, well, it could be recorded. And I feel like let's see. We debriefed perhaps enough. It just um kind of ready to go on and get this information to Jack and set up for tomorrow, because I think what we need to do today is, let's see if we can fold that in. We
Okay.
need to build a page of at least six, and we've been talking about those six films with
Oh. Hmm
the um, the notes, the program notes,
hmm
and with these curricular codes. So that will be complete, and we show them that, um, and that
Okay.
this,
Okay.
yeah.
I,
'Cause
I'd like to I'd like to debrief a little bit,
go ahead.
because I think what I was taken aback, surprised by. Okay, and I know that I'm always like real critical of myself. Okay, so and what I do, you know, and so
Mm.
therefore, I wasn't like totally. I couldn't put a finger on it as to why I wasn't totally satisfied with our performance. And then what threw me was when we heard the feedback from Kate LeBlanc, right?
Uh-huh.
Who said the kids loved it. And I go, really? Really? You know, because I didn't think it was like I felt, I don't know, I guess I have a higher standard. I don't know what it is, you know. But so I wanted, so my question is, let's debrief in the sense of what worked and what do we need to do, you know, what can we do better, or what areas do we want to fix for the
Okay.
next you
Okay.
know.
Well, I think we debriefed a bit about the second film. Oh, well, what does Jack say? Um,
In a
yes,
Starbucks.
walking to Starbucks soon. They still don't have it in the, oh my God. Okay. Well, let's just finish that sentence. So definitely, as I said in talking with Kate and her principal, the
Which I was really happy to
rehearsal
hear.
was
I was
the
really happy to hear that, you know, so I was like, oh.
yeah. Oh no, I mean, I've recognized already that I've rested on my laurels, and I should have set that film up. I was, and even in the notch, um, which was, um, well, we'll go back to the notch in a second. Even in the notch, I had given it less attention.
Mm,
than the first film. And
mhm,
because I hadn't intended to start it that day, I but had agreed that we would go forward. I didn't commit to it like I did the first one. And
mhm,
that's clear to me. That's
mhm,
clear. And anything on our program needs full attention.
mhm, mhm.
And so that, yeah, I mean, it's clear in the notch notch.
I
Uh,
thought not. I think it worked. I mean, I know that there was that one little piece that the little flaw right there, but I thought you had a really good notch. I thought it was good. I think that's one of the things I say worked. I
yeah,
really,
good.
you know, I
But
think I think we had unique circumstances in the sense that those students from Slovenia were coming in early and
yes,
all that other stuff. So that was just unique, right? I mean, that was unusual, I'm sure.
but it could
But
happen again, and we used it to our advantage. And using the poll, we had tested the poll, so that was good. I think our
that
testing.
worked. That worked. And the other day I had, oh my God, I should have written it down because I had another question for the poll. Darn it, I forgot what it was. It'll come
Well,
back
keep
to me.
coming up with those. That's great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wondered though why, as we were in the flow, you questioned the notch notch, and you suggested, and I think we were at 10 past, and you suggested that we start winding up already.
My fault because I didn't realize that we were taking a break. It was my fault. I didn't see the break. And so therefore I thought, oh my God, we're going to run out of time before the film. Yeah, no, no,
Ah, okay.
that's
So
my fault. Mm-mm.
as much imbue the notch notch, and even at 5:30, I know that we had said when we signed off that we would come back on for the 5:30 show, but the 5:30 show for us started at 4:30.
Oh,
Fortunately, no one else was there,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah, in the same way. And that's a film festival. When you
Right.
have a show
Yeah.
about to
Mm-hmm.
go on, you're there at least an hour.
Yeah. And I was worried. I was worried about the time. I was worried about the time. And I didn't see the break. I go, oh, so I was like, oh my God, we're going to run out of time. We're gonna
So your teacher was coming through, which is great. I'm happy. I'm
that
happy
was
when the teacher comes through. But
the
yeah,
poll.
that one. I mean, I was very pleased that we came out with only 2 minutes over time
Yeah.
because David came back and wanted to present his idea, which was great. I was so pleased that we did almost everything. I know that I didn't uh, present in front with relax and keep your ears open for new words. I
Right.
think
Right.
that's a simple cue.
Right.
And what do we call that? The bon voyage, maybe.
Ah,
The
okay.
bon voyage. Um, have a good journey. Relax and and keep your ears open for new words.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because that's going to help when if I have if, when we're either one of us is presenting, we have those points in front of us.
Mhm,
We know what those are. So
mhm,
that's good. We just named it today, the Bon Voyage.
mhm. So I thought the poll worked. I thought the notch worked.
Okay.
What do you think about introductions? What do you think?
Still, I was flowing from the chat um, with the Slovenians and talking about language. So we it became conversational. I think I hit most of the points in the notch notch. Let me bring that up. Okay. Let me just share that what I'm looking at. Guests in attendance, we introduced everyone and where they're from. I think we did
Mhm,
that. Just like I didn't say silence your cell phones, just like at a theater. So I didn't make that association
mhm,
to
mhm,
a theater. Um, we talked about naming in the hour before.
mhm.
Uh, didn't really talk so much about the reason for Screen 360 TV. But
Hmm.
I think I did. I think I got into
I think
why
you did.
now, and but I don't think I said international peers.
Hmm.
Did I talk about it? I don't.
No, not. Yes, you did. You did
Oh,
address. Yes, for sure. Not
okay,
quite like this, but yeah.
okay. So not quite. So international peers. Gotta be able to talk about that. Okay. Uh,
I
and then
do.
for the
Yeah.
Q&A, I think I spoke about memory.
Mhm. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did.
Tried to break that up. Okay, and the cognitive um, terms. Good. And I did speak about security. Speaking about the Zoom bomb, I probably gave it too much information. So Zoom bomb. Okay. So I can imagine rather than an order, these things are going to be spoken about, not necessarily in that order.
Hmm. Hmm.
What do you think? What did you think about the quality of delivery?
I thought it was good. Like I said, I think it was unusual with Slovenia coming in early. That I think that got to be a little. They were early, but I felt like the transition to when Sparta came in, I didn't feel like Sparta got the attention, or I don't feel like Slovene. They didn't get to hear really each other because we'd already done so much with Slovenia that I think it wasn't the connection between the two wasn't. I think emphasized as much as it probably should have been. The fact that these
We
two
were
are coming together,
we were
with
talking
each of
about the
them.
poll question, and so
Yeah,
we
the
came.
both. Yeah,
Introduction was languages. So we asked the girls about their languages, and then I asked the Slovenians if anybody was speaking Russian, and they weren't.
yeah. But I think that next time it won't happen like this. And so I think that the best thing is when they all take the poll together, and there's just
Yeah,
a general percentage of who's in the room and what their background is, not necessarily. I don't think what to say the Europeans speak more languages than the Americans do. I think if you collapse it and just make a general statement, everybody knows who it is, right? I mean, it doesn't matter because that's not, we're going to talk about, you'll see that there's a larger percentage, and the kids who don't will know that they're not part of that larger percentage. So it'll be effective that way. But I think it's important to make sure we take the opportunity that these two groups acknowledge the fact that they're both privileged to be here and have this opportunity to interact with someone that's so far away. I think that's huge. I think it makes it even more important that an opportunity is going to be like, wow, I was talking to someone from Slovenia today, so.
yeah. I think that that's nice, and I think that that moment we can say, it's an amazing time now that a 16-year-old in Slovenia, a 16-year-old in New Jersey can connect, and
Right.
here is where they're doing it.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. I mean we talk about first times, but be more specific about the amazing aspect of the event.
You know what? That's something that we want to bring in tomorrow. Just that experience that we just had, the kids just had.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I think that's huge right there. This is the
Um,
this is the kind of opportunities we're offering.
and
Yeah.
and this is what happened yesterday. I was thinking of, they have a deck, but I was thinking of one more slide, um, and it's about what happened today, or yes, Friday, and showing them or just showing them the image and talking
Well,
about here's what happened.
did you record Caleb Blanc's commentary? I missed it. About the feedback she just generally heard from her kids. Did you record that part?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That
I
would
took I
that
took
would
a
have been
note.
good.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But I also think taking a clip from some of this. So, okay, a clip from the actual event in the part of the
Yeah.
Q&A. Um,
Yeah.
what was similar? What was different?
Yeah, or the screenshot you took of everyone. I mean, something, yeah, something, evidence of
I mean,
just,
keeping it simple, we can speak about that. The screenshot would be it, and then here it happened. Kids
mhm.
from Slovenia, from New Jersey, from Berlin. This,
And guess what? I mean, it was kind of like the kids from Sparta saw that heard that the kids in Slovenia are all wearing masks and they were all home too, like them. They couldn't go to school,
right,
so all of
right.
a sudden awareness that this is global, it's not just, US. Yeah, we have to be really, really wise with our time tomorrow.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Your recollection of what Kate said was that the students thought it was phenomenal,
Yeah.
and they
I
felt a little shame about the language learning.
Did they? I
That's
mean,
what she said.
I heard us be concerned about them feeling shame, but I didn't hear any
She
comments.
used the word shame.
Did they?
She did. Kate used the word shame. Yeah.
I came in a little late. That's why I missed
Oh,
that part.
yeah. Okay. But then we spoke about, okay, they shouldn't feel because they're so young. They should not feel shame. And look
Hmm.
at that word. And so we talked about that, but also, and use that. Uh, um, they shouldn't feel the shame that their curriculum has missed. And so I focused on, it's not their shame. It's the, and it shouldn't be shame, but it's a cue for the education to open up more. And I think that's what we're pushing on, for
Hmm.
the education to become more international.
Hmm. Well, I think it also, for the US students, gave them a glimpse into how other countries approach languages, right? I mean, they're more open to other cultures, in the sense that kids start watching English cartoons when they're
Oh,
3 years
here's
old.
Jack. Hold on. There we are. Hey, Jack.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you get some sleep?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
feel a lot better.
good. Um, we were just debriefing, and we do need to encapsulate it, Dee Dee, and move on. But some things that worked, Jack, were the uh, just on Friday. It was a unique situation because the Slovenian kids came in an hour early, and so we were sort of rolling in. And Dee Dee made a point that when the kids from Sparta came in, they came into a conversation that was already started. So we presented the poll, which was how many foreign languages do you speak, or how many languages do you speak, one, two, or three, and what was your earliest memory of an international film? And those, so we brought them into the conversation, and I think Dee Dee made a good point. That was that we didn't say, "Hey, for the first time, this is happening." Kids in Slovenia, 16-year-olds in Slovenia, 16-year-olds in New Jersey, 16-year-olds in Berlin have the capacity to connect because of technology, and you're doing it now. So really focused on the event and the amazing event that just happened. So I guess the largeness, I don't want to say the grandness, but the impact of such an
Yeah,
event.
the impact, opportunity. Yes, here
The
we are.
opportunity, yeah, the incredible opportunity. Yeah, that's good. Um, so yes, and then the second film, Jack, I didn't put enough emphasis on it. Didn't put enough. You can see the notch here. Um, I did not put a 2 foot commitment on that because I had imagined putting Les Frères Maison de Thé on Thursday next week and starting it with Rose Lopez's class, and I didn't commit it. And so in that 15 minutes between the end of the first film and the second film, I went to say hello to my mother and get her set up, wake her up and get her set up to watch because she wanted to watch it. So, and instead of making sure that the film was up and ready to go, which is what I did for the first one, I was an hour in advance. So we didn't test this technically. That was also a problem. And Rose Lopez also didn't come to this, and she wrote me, she says, I know how to use Zoom. I'm good at it. But what she's not, and I need to write her yet about that, is how we're working together, how we're coordinating together. So I will write her about that today, but it's kind of low priority. So we might have a little bit of a bump. I might ask her to start half an hour early just so we get that down on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So back to needing to have tech rehearsal. So you might have heard that I did not go into our spreadsheet where the link to the film is. So I ran to Zoom, or I ran to Vimeo where it was, but that on Vimeo was an unsubtitled version. So I had to stop twice before getting the film up. And I even forget why the first time we stopped. So yeah, it's just in the heat of the moment, knowing where to get the link, and it wasn't in the link that I could find. It was in the Google Drive, and I went to the wrong one, and etc. So that was just not rehearsed, and it wasn't prepared, and so also helps to have a tech person. And when you're your own tech person, whoa, these things can happen. But we turned that into a teaching moment with Dee Dee and Kate and her director, Mary, and that was useful. And then, as I told you, no one came for the afternoon class, and that needs to
Mm-hmm.
develop more. Our people on the other side, to the east, more developed. I did go to our assistants for H4H from Korea, Ju, I'm forgetting his name.
Um, uh,
Not Ju Young. We know
yeah, I forgot.
who we're talking about. I did
Yeah.
write to him, but it was just days before, and asked if he had friends or family to connect with, because I hadn't had luck connecting with him. But that is something for our future. Dee Dee, can we move on for the debrief now?
I just want to say, just to wrap it up here, that
Yes.
what we discovered in that pilot, what we discovered was that kids were just hanging out there, not wanting to jump in and speak. So we needed to devise something to bring them in, engage them. And so what we came up with was, we will have them as introduction to the film. Right before the film, we're going to say, and while you're watching this, think about 2 words that stand out in the film for you, or something about the country, the landscape. I don't know, something. And then when we turn off the film, then we can start with that, and they will already have had some sort of prompt so they can perhaps start speaking, because we had a lot of blank, a lot of, awkward moments, let's say. So yeah, so that's one thing, is how do we get them to do that?
I get that. Right. And so we devised the bon voyage. Right before film goes on, you say, have a good journey, relax, and listen for some new words, right? And that's what Dee Dee was talking about. Needed to set off a little better. I was thrown off by the Slovenians coming early and what to do.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So the introduction needs to be more set, and yeah, I think it will.
Because that way they could have time to work out some answers. Because I know some of them, they just would have to think on the spot, and they're slow thinkers. And
right.
when you came to them, they just said, I don't know, or they just stayed quiet.
Well, and there was also a miss when one of the Slovenian girls said, I haven't had any experiences. Well, and I said, the next time you will. But this is an experience. That was my miss. This is an experience for you. And so the next time you can talk about it. This is what we're hoping. But I found that not a little sad, but also already kids are starting to feel shame, and I think that's a huge deal for us to recognize and to roll with that, because I hear that from my nieces and nephews sometimes, that they that shame comes up, or I'm not good at that. They don't say I'm not good at that yet. They just say I'm not good at that. You know, wow, you're so young, you have so many years to learn that language, or so many years to get good at that. So let's keep bringing in that shame filter. And are they looking at shame? Or
Yeah.
are they feeling shame? And how does their teacher work with it? Dee Dee, I can imagine, knowing your students well, how does the teacher deal with that?
Well, I think for me, that, what I would say to my students would be, it's, well, first of all, I think what they feel, maybe shame a little bit, but maybe they feel like inadequate, and maybe therefore more reticent in offering something because they feel that they're just not as good as somebody else next to them.
Okay. I like the word inadequacy better than shame.
Yeah.
Shame is too huge. There are little parts of shame, but I think inadequate is a much better word.
Right. And so
That's
then you hold back then, because you don't feel like what you have to say, is valuable or something, or is not as good as. Or something.
No, I just think it's not there yet. Today you are coming in touch with that, and so you begin that journey now, and you recognize the inadequacy that might be on the other side of that inadequacy is a wish to be stronger in that place.
And that's why I think it's really important, in the opening to really preface, what it is that we're doing. And along those lines, it's, we all have different experiences. We've come from different places, and we're here, to learn, to listen to each other, respect the differences. Perhaps we're not going to agree with the differences, but at least we're going to acknowledge that, somebody else thinks differently than we do. And we're just choose to disagree, right? Not to not agree.
Take this. No, that's really nice. And hold the space, make it safe. And you're exactly right. I could have made the space more safe, more open, but it was just.
We're going to learn from this.
And that's really important, right? To start how to. I wanted to send them away, but the teacher said, we might not get them back. And yeah.
Even at the end, I noticed one of the kids brought up that topic and was like, I usually never speak up in class because I feel ashamed, or she feels too embarrassed because she thinks that her thoughts won't be as good as people around her. So
there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why acknowledging the fact that we've all had different experiences, different structures, all kinds of stuff, and that's all okay. This is what's going to make it better, that we're going to hear about it and share it, so yeah, definitely. You want to create that purpose and that space, and you're really telling kids, be respectful, listen, you may not agree, but just hear and realize that not everyone has had your experience growing up. Okay, their world is very big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
I think setting the tone with that is important. Yeah. Before you start with the intro of the movie, and maybe something to think about while the movie, just make sure that they feel welcomed and know that they can say whatever they want. It's a safe space. Because I mean, it's not like a class, because I think sometimes when you're in a graded environment, you feel very apprehensive to say anything because you don't want to say the wrong thing. But this is different. It's supposed to be just a fun learning experience.
Mm-hmm. No, that's totally huge, and I can see where my mind is still on a bit on the technology and on the coordination and all of that, and so that just magnifies the need for a dedicated tech person, a dedicated tech partner who takes that concern away.
Right.
And also ways that we can do that in tandem. I just think tandem is so much more interesting than a single host. And my dream is that there are young hosts as well, that there are young people who have helped with the research and are also presenting the films, so that each one of us has not the entire burden, but role in delivering. And so then it's distributed and make sure that everybody has an important nugget to deliver.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. So let's work on that, because that, you're right, so important. I think I was already nervous about Paul Spiegel and sounding like a lawyer saying you've got to learn your language well, perfectly. No, Paul. All right. So Jack, are we ready to go? So many notes and good feedback on.
Yeah.
So ready to close feedback and go forward with preparing for tomorrow's meeting. And that said, I'd like to move pretty quickly because stupid Stanford, pardon me, I just have to say that, doesn't open until 8 o'clock. And we've been meeting since 8 o'clock, so I can't see why they have made it impossible for me to get into my Stanford email. Yeah, so I got to get there, and from that, then I can send the note to our meeting tomorrow and ask them to move a half an hour ahead so that Jack can join us. And so we want to move along quickly here, and I want to get them that email before noon today. So let's
Yeah, I'll send you my Stanford email, by the way, in case you want to publish it.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, do that. I'm glad we can do that. Yeah, they're not working on the weekends when we needed them.
Right.
So very quickly, Jack, I'm going to share with you this mock-up. And so for tomorrow, we want to get some of the films that we show, and we want to make sure that our cultural films are really standing out, the ones that we are offering. And so our advisor, Jean-Benoit Levy, a graphic designer, has offered for us to do curricular lenses that we've been talking about, so we can mark world language and culture. For instance, you see WLC, arts and aesthetics. But as I was defining those, and you can see on this page how I was defining them. It wasn't saying, we didn't have something that included identity and health and the environment. We have ethics, culture, and justice, world language and culture. And I know this has been an ongoing discussion for us, and it's important, an important discussion, because it really defines us. And how do we zoom out to define how we're going to choose the films through which lens? Didi, go ahead.
Yeah, English should be ELA, okay? It should be English Language Arts. That's what it's called.
Yeah, okay, that's great, that's great. And that, I mean, that is also something we can offer the Slovenian students. They can come watch a film with us and speak for an hour with us, speak English with us. and develop more of a familiarity. You know, that could be one of the offerings that we offer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Have
ahead,
you got in touch with any classrooms in India or France or anywhere in the country that can connect with the 3 classrooms that we're piloting in? Or?
That's a task for our next step, and you can see I've got that international piece on all of our lists, and I'll compose this on and put it on our drive. But I would like for us all to reach out to those places, and we can be more specific about that. John was going to send the contact for the school in India and make that connection, and I imagine he's doing that today. And
okay, perfect.
India.
And then also we get it doesn't have to be an international school. It could be another class similar at another school.
Yes.
So if SI or if Bellarmine has a class at 9 a.m.
So I'll follow up with the SI pitch that it's gone there. The Bellarmine was Chris. I haven't done that yet. Okay.
Jack, is that a social justice class you're talking about?
It could,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's stay here. The next thing we'll do is go to how we find those places, and we'll go to the schedule as it is now. Like Jack, you and I did on Saturday morning, we looked at those places. So, but let's go back here. Dee Dee and I have been talking about this a little bit, identity and health. So I was looking at this. Whoa, wait a minute. There's nothing about environment in these, and this is. So let me go back to what Dee Dee and I were talking about. What is the Common Core? Not the Common Core, but the IB, and the way IB has organized an identities, lifestyles, health and well-being, language and identity there. How smart that is. I mean, language is in there. It's fascinating. Experiences in life stories. This is where the autobiographical memory is. And migration, moving to another place for a better life or to learn more. I mean, why can't Mexican and Central American immigrants come here for a better life when I moved to Germany to understand better why Germany has this wonderful children's film festival? And I've been thinking about moving to Denmark to understand how Denmark thinks. Why? So we won't go into that, but just to say how people with privilege can migrate, and it's okay. But people who are looking for a different life with maybe less socioeconomic privilege, why is it not okay for them? Okay, so that's a huge question, and I love that it's in experiences and it sort of levels the playing field. Human ingenuity, here's technology, and here is creation, generative stuff, and I think that's here's the gen right there. I think that's so well classified. Social organization, social relationships, law and order there. Wow, I think that's so beautiful that those two are together, and yet they also fight. You know, in a way, they also combat each other. But in a way, if you look at all of these, there's a yin and a yang, there's an opposition relationship in all of these, and that's really natural. I like that. And especially drawn to sharing the planet, where peace and conflict, and maybe this is where the ECJ class falls in sharing the planet. So I propose that we make our buttons, our curricular theme buttons that go with each film, these 5. What do you think? And Dee Dee, you thought that there was something missing, perhaps.
No, I don't think so. I think we had it all there, right? Didn't we have it all there?
I think it's all there. I think
it's
the
all there.
others, they break it down. And I would leave. I think we were talking about the Common Core. My question to Dee is, did she think that this would alienate any Common Core teachers?
No, I don't think it'll alienate them, but I do think that, you know, we can certainly say that it's in the, this stuff is, not all of this stuff, but certainly cultural literacy is in the Common Core. Okay, it is in the Common Core. The Common Core is just categorized by every single subject, every single year of education and all those things, you know, so it's a big matrix there. But I think that this does cover it. It covers Common Core, it does.
Okay.
I mean, I think we could probably do a little footnote that says these standards are, and we can list the numbers where they're in the Common Core. Okay, so we can do a little footnote to that.
I think you're right, and be specific about that. I think on the website I do speak about our studying all of the curricula, the three, and being inspired by them.
Yeah. I like inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, inspired by. Yeah, and or guided by. Do you think?
Okay, guided by. Yeah.
Guided by is probably a little more. Yeah, better.
Yep.
Speaking. Okay, guided by. Yeah.
So are these different than the other? What are the these are the themes, and then the others are you gonna put those by the classes too, or the ones that you just brought up, the ECJ and
I'll look at that. Yeah.
ELA
well, I think
and the
these are. Let's see if I can bring them up. I'm sorry I didn't put those up beside them. How can I do that? How can I do that without flip-flopping back and forth? Let me think. Well, I think that these are within those Common Core. Let me see if I can do something clever and make so we can see them all together.
They're definitely within the IB for sure.
Yeah, let me look. Because it'd be great if it's few of them like this, and then it's also a test. We can still adjust. All right. Now, where is that I just took? That picture, where did it go? Oh, it's hiding. Don't go away. Oh, it did. All right, hold on. All right, we're done with that. Oh. I just took a screenshot so we could look at them side by side, and I'm finding that screenshot. It has 20 seconds. And it's up. Okay. I'll find that in a second. Is that it? That's not it. Ah, here it is. Okay. All right. That makes it a little better. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Let me just say there is a flashing neon sign in my mind saying, it is so good to talk about this with the two of you. I mean, I'm learning so much, and I so appreciate it. There's
same here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Here we go. So, is anything missing? The language here, ECJ, we said it's in sharing the planet. Oh, so beautiful, so simple. I would love to find where these came from, and in what conference they were arrived at, and how many people agree. And
Goes way back, right?
I'm guessing so. I'm guessing so. And that is something for our future, is to attend one of these IB conferences. As I said to Dee Dee, I applied to 2 of them to present research, but they didn't take it. And then also COVID hit. And one was in Poland and one was in Singapore. I mean, it was going to be so expensive. And I communicated with them quite a lot and found every way that I could to participate. Anyway, and it was too expensive. So, okay, ECJ taken care of. Check. World Culture.
I'm thinking maybe we could just have those 5 up there.
Yes.
Get rid of 1 and connect 5 to the 5 below. I'm thinking ECJ works with sharing the planet.
Yes.
And I'm thinking social organization could be history and social sciences. Identities could be world, language, and culture.
Yes.
Experiences could be
arts and aesthetics.
Yeah.
Or is that's human ingenuity. That's
arts and aesthetics could be human ingenuity, and then experiences could be English language, because it's stories.
Yes, and it's also psychology, experiences.
Well, this is what I think, though, with IB. I think it's these things are probably in all of their courses, right? I mean, pretty much. I mean, sharing the planet definitely sounds like environment or science, but it's got human rights, and so it's the impact on human rights. It's
right, and
it's conflict, equality. Yeah, it's kind of the whole idea about what gets lost, what's gained, what's lost.
Well, and that beautiful statement that you wrote, Dee Dee, as is evidenced by globally, and you spoke about environment in that, as is evidenced by systemic racism and economic disparity and environmental responsibility. Those are the words you use.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And yes, Jack, did you see that sharing the planet, the questions at the end there? I mean, that definitely is social justice as it applies to the environment, and
yeah. But I think that definitely, because ECJ, you're supposed to talk about environment a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, it does. It totally affects. Now, art and aesthetics, where is that here? That's here in entertainment, artistic expression.
Yeah.
Human ingenuity, yeah.
Okay.
I think that identity and health doesn't really make sense. You could just delete that one.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out that one. So I think
they fit well, and then that one's English language arts and not English language learning.
Learning, ALL.
No. The last word.
What is the last
word? Is arts. It should be arts. Okay. English language arts.
Not learning. Not learning.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be okay. I get you. I see where I was going to the A. But these we are not going to use. We are going to adopt these themes, correct? Is that what?
Well, I think we should keep the top ones, because I think when we have ECJ connected to films, that could be really helpful, because especially if we want to grow in the West Catholic schools, they all have ECJ classes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But I just wonder about their value still being known as ECJ.
Well, it just helps them better.
Well, it promotes it. It promotes it. No, I completely agree. So user experience. I'm a parent, and I'm coming and I'm looking at the film with an identity link down below, or sharing the planet and I see the opportunity to join a class where this film is being taught. I think this makes it sort of levels the playing field even more. Not to say that the ECJ class doesn't level the playing field, but it is a portal that they would go through to explore and find the ECJ class. So it's still called the ECJ class, but it has these buttons to step through, these portals to step through to start. And then it goes to the ECJ class.
Yeah. I'm thinking each film could have 2 tags where you tag it with one of these more broad themes on the bottom and then one of the subjects on the top.
Okay.
So then, because I think you could have a identities film that really fits with the ECJ class. So then you would put a tag identities and then an ECJ tag.
Okay. So let's do this. So to deliver to Jean Benoit, we have an ECJ WLC. Do we? I'm trying to overcome redundancies.
Right.
Right.
So I'm thinking that this slide, let's say this was a slide, I think these 2 on the same page kind of, shows the teacher that, that these are the subjects at the top, and you could plug them into any one of these, depending on what you're doing in your class, your subject and what theme you're doing at the moment. You could plug them into one of these other IB themes. So to me, it's just a reference point that kind of says, here are the top, here are the subjects, these films, you can find them in these films here. I hear what Jack's saying about 2 tags, and that would work too. I just worry about if, maybe other teachers, maybe the science teacher or the ECJ teacher won't look at it if it's, primarily a history film, or if it's primarily
I think it's going to have, and that's our job, Dee, when we put these films up, and it's to apply all of these possible themes.
Right.
And put them up there. And so Jack,
well, we can't put all the tags in all the films. You know what I mean? We can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it should have 2, the 2 main, the subject and then the theme, I think would be really helpful.
I know we've been talking about that, and I'm also thinking about our designer who wants to get these to us for tomorrow. So
that'll be easy though, Katie. Once we identify, the 6 films, right? The 6 films, and then it's going to be easy to, plug these in.
Okay. So so we take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we keep language arts. We don't need these. We don't need these. World language and culture.
No, we need all.
Why would we delete those? I thought we were keeping them all.
Right, keep them all.
But I thought we agreed that identities, language and culture is in identities.
Yeah, but we're keeping both. We're gonna do 2 tags, I thought, where you tag it with the subject and then the theme.
Right.
Okay, I know we were talking about that with Satinder too. And I'm trying to keep it minimal for the designer to get it done. So, or we try with all of these things, and these.
Well, there's only 10. I don't think it
2,
would be
3,
too difficult.
4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's. How do we? So I give him all of this, and we'll let him decide how he abbreviates. So here's identities.
Just initials, I think. Well, I think initials, right?
So identities. I'll finish this, and he can decide. But I think it is just initials, and that's what we would do if we didn't have the graphic. We would write the initials at the bottom. after the, let me show you. Here.
I thought we eliminated identities, no? Oh.
No, we're going to use all of these themes, right? So if we didn't have these curricular lens things, we would use just abbreviations like we did here.
Yeah, I like it.
You like just the abbreviations or the curricular lens dots?
I like the curricular lens dots.
Okay.
Me too.
So, and we have 10. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm going to send to him.
We have 10, but I think the 5 IB will be, one of those will be in each one of the films, and then one of the others will also be attached. So probably every film will have 2.
Yeah, and I think they should be in different colors just so they know that one's sort of the theme and one is the curriculum. It's more of the subject.
Right.
So you have the green there. So maybe the green means what subject it falls under, and then orange could be the theme it falls under.
The IB theme.
Yeah.
Okay. I just, let's see. Sharing the planet, SP. Okay. Experiences. All right. Okay, this is what I'm going to send him, and he's been doing the design since inception, and he will arrive at the right colors using our orange, green, and blue. Okay. All right. So in this next 15 minutes, let's talk about next steps. So Dee Dee and I spoke a bit already. Can you see that? Huh. There we go. There we are. Dee Dee and I spoke a bit about developing more schools. One idea was the Sparta connections. There are several Sparta schools. There's one in Ohio, there's one in Missouri, there's one in Mississippi. And bringing the Sparta schools on, it's just a way of connecting, way of reaching out. And we are also, Jack, to also speak to not necessarily international, but also the Canadian school. Up with that, so following up with all, so that's following up with the local and Canadian. And I guess we agree at we follow up twice, and if we don't hear from them, then we take them off the list. That I suppose is good sales. What else here? Dee Dee is going to develop, right? Dee Dee, more teacher connections. All right, so I was going to go, we're going to go to our schedule. Hold on. And let's see, let me pull it up first and show how we were looking at that. Whew. Is that it? Hold on a second. Let me stop the share. Let me just stop the share. I wanted to bring up our Google Drive with the current And this is the pilot and schedule. That's what I wanted to bring up. Right. And I have noticed that I can switch the tabs that are on the bottom to the top. So I will figure out how I can do that, because just bringing the sheet 1, sheet 2 to the top, try and figure out how I can do that. If somebody figures that out, please tell me before me. So here is what we have so far. Jack and I were talking about this the other day, or Saturday. If we use the 90-minute time block, this is where we can bring in new schools, and maybe what we've just defined. Well, right now the schools are helping us define what these blocks are going to be, but then we can also meet them with, for instance, that ELA. We could give the Slovenian class an English language class. So maybe the Monday morning is an ELA class, and we can offer that. So it seems like our offerings can come both from what our teachers are offering, as well as what we are having to offer. And I think we might have to do some declaring, but I think at the moment now we're looking for the teachers who want to engage with us and what they're offering, and how we combine groups with them. So Jack, in looking at John Mar Heineke's class, as great as it is, there'll be other classes joining to watch the film. And so that's how the extension, the peer-to-peer learning will also happen. They'll be slightly different. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 5 potential slots per day, and of 90 minutes. And these are what we can offer teachers.
Yeah, that's perfect.
90 minutes per day. And so that's 5 times 6, that's 30 right now when we're in our MVP, and we have one stream, but that's also, I'm going to be looking at multiple streams and how we might be able to, for instance, Dee Dee is leading a group at the same time I'm leading a group. That could possibly be, but I would say that it's not wise to do that until we have a dedicated tech person. What do you think? Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah, I agree.
Right now we're working with, 30 is a lot already. That's a huge program. That's a lot happening. So I don't think we can do that multi yet, even though we might be able to on Zoom, and that'll come later. Okay, so think about these blocks starting. I'm guessing they could start as early as 8 o'clock. So just offering 90-minute blocks.
Well, I think on the West Coast, I think California just came out with a new law that goes into effect this year, that high schools can't start before 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of revolutionary, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Wow, I wish that was a law when I was in high school.
What time did you have to start, Jack?
Oh my God.
Well, I had to wake up at 6:30 every day because it took me 30 minutes to drive to Midi, and then we started the class at 7:45 every day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's stretching it.
Same at Los Altos. Same.
Okay. Yeah, I think my high school started at 8:10 or something like that. Some wacky.
Yeah, I just didn't sleep because I was always playing a sport, and I was taking a lot of classes, so I'd get back at 6:30. Then I'd have to do all my homework, and so I'd end up sleeping at 12, and then I had to wake up at 6:30. So.
Yeah.
So that's a good law. I like that law.
Yeah, that's good. And even some schools are experimenting with late start days. to allow for more sleep. And I'm so glad that that is a consideration instead of the, you know, the factory education where we are, you know, foie gras pushing subjects into people whether they were awake or not.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so does this serve as a guide? And so when we're out there talking with and developing, well, at this point, I mean, you want to be able to tell teachers what we can offer, like a 90-minute. In a cinema, we would actually offer 2-hour slots so that there was an half-hour transition time. What do you think about that? So that's 15 minutes on either side. That might be wise to make a slot, a time slot, 2 hours rather than 90 minutes. Like we did on Friday, there was a 15-minute break between. So I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to be hard pressed to get people to sign up for 90 minutes. Block schedules, the longest block schedule I've seen so far is 90 minutes, but a lot of blocks are 65, 75, 85, whatever. But then again, I think what's more appealing to a classroom teacher really is that they can allocate, easy enough 45 minutes, right? But I don't know, if you start getting into more than 1 hour, I think you're going to be like, people are going to say, can't do 90.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think the shorter the film, the better. And you need to account for the discussion aspect too.
Right. So it's the hour like we gave. And that's what we've been saying. Okay, so let's stay with the 1 hour slots, but our time slots for scheduling should have a 15-minute buffer. So it should be a 90-minute time slot, which has a 15-minute buffer in front and a 15-minute buffer at the end, at the back. So it is a 90-minute time slot. Okay.
Well, I think we have to make sure that that we say that to the teachers. I mean, yes. If they want to come a little early, they can, or leave early, whatever an hour would be.
Well, we want the program, and this is what we did on Friday. We had people actually come at 9:15. So if we look at the preparation, the pilot participant preparation. They were to come on 15 minutes in advance, and then the program was 1 hour. But the entire time slot that we work with for our needs, also programming needs, is 90 minutes, 15 minutes after, and then 15 minutes, or maybe it's an hour and 15. Call it that, because the next class also has 15 minutes in front. So knowing that, I could. We have the 9:30, and then rather than 2 hours, I'll diminish that. We could.
Yeah, when you think about our H4R class, it started on time and ended on time, right? I think everyone wants to know, firmly, what they can commit to. How many minutes can I put into my plan? And then I have other things to do too. So, I mean, I think if we want to, as ourselves, come earlier, stay later, or whatever, I think that's not a problem. But I think as far as what am I asking you to commit to? I want to know what is it that I'm committing to. So I don't think
1 hour of programming for their class. That's what we're asking them to commit to. But us as a team, we also have to think of those buffers out here. Or maybe just I do.
No, I agree. I'm saying for us, yes. For us, yes.
Okay.
And I don't really want us to open the doors really before the time period, time commitment, because what happened with Slovenia was that it kind of impacted what happened next.
In a big way, sure. But you have to get in and set up your film. You have to test, and same thing at a cinema and a film festival. The projectionists are there, but there are ushers who are not letting people in yet, right? So, yeah, that was just a very unique thing.
Yeah, no, just for us, I'm good. For us, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, not a
so
problem.
We're offering 1-hour experiences. Let's say that. And so, we have maybe 30 spots, I'm thinking. Okay, so we have 30 spots, and let's try and get 2 more spots each filled in the next 2 weeks. And we can brainstorm. We're hoping to get with the Indian school. What are some directions? The Sparta idea, the Spartas around the world. The Spartas are, it would be great to get Sparta, Greece, but I don't know, that's another thing. What are some other directions we can go for bringing teachers in? And it seems continue to reach out to the homeschool, and then we're asking everyone to use their social media and reach out.
Yeah, Katie, I think we should really focus on the homeschools, because I can tell you right now with Illuminate, we are not getting the responses. We're not. Teachers are just overwhelmed right now.
Okay.
With the,
so homeschool and hubs, the hubs, the teaching hubs. So I would look for those hubs in your region. For instance, there's 3 Facebook groups for micro teaching hubs in Portland. Isn't that what they're calling them? Are they calling them hubs, or they're calling them?
I think they're calling them
pods. Pardon me. Sorry, pods. So pods, we've got to reach out to those pods of people who have, they've pulled their kid out of school and they're doing something very different this year, or they're doing that and school. So these are our next steps. Let's make some lists of pods to get to. I wonder, Jack, at USC, how you might be able to find a pod, or in the LA area.
I could ask, because I'm connected to the high school that's nearby. I can ask if they'd be interested.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Let's try and bring in a couple more and fill in these spaces. Okay, so we'll check back on that. I think that HubSpot, and I'm just starting to investigate that as a frame for us to work within, that helps with developing. It's using a sales model, and I'm wondering if that is adaptable to our needs. And so that's what I'm investigating. It would give us a framework for listing potential users for Screen 360 TV, and then how to continue to return to them, and just enabling us to keep track. And so to know that I am looking for frameworks, unless Google Docs, I think Google Docs is just going to get so confusing for us in a while. It already is. But I just want a way that keeps us organized, but also helps us progressing forward. And I think that's what HubSpot does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm going to look into that hopefully a little bit more this evening. Okay, so Dee Dee, that was programming and ed materials. You talked about the 2 teachers you're going to reach out to. They
weren't teachers, though.
Ron Herring, right? Professors at Stanford.
Yes, they're not. You're right. They're not teachers.
They're not teachers.
No, and I think Ron, probably, I'm guessing he's retired. I'm guessing, but I'm not positive. This Lifetime Achievement Award, it seemed to me like, that was a long time ago when he was doing that. So I will try to reach out to him, though, for sure.
Okay, that would be good. I think we need to increase these marketing aspects for everyone. And Dee Dee, you are also going to look into curricular and ed journals where we could place some information about just a note about Screen 360 TV.
Yeah, hi, Katie, what do you think about, the Stanford Journal that comes out, once a quarter or however often it comes out?
Yes, and I pitched Screen 360 to them, and also connected with the alumni guy at GSE, and I'll go to that. Jack gave me the contact for Stanford Magazine, and I don't think might not have been the right date, but pitched there already. But you're right, School of Education has something that they put out.
To pay to put it in there or not? Do you know?
Paid advertisements? I don't know if there are paid for Stanford.
Well,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Even when people are renting their flat in Paris, are they paying to put it there, or are they? I don't know.
Stanford Magazine. Okay.
Well, I was hoping that they just really liked the story and what we do and put it in there.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in it, not because we're paying them.
Right.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good. And the international. All right. Ed research. So that's a good direction, and I wonder other places too. You're not in the USC magazine yet. That's not until you are an alumnus. Is that correct, Jack?
Oh, I mean, I could reach out if you want it to be in USC. You think that would help?
Sure. I mean, it's cinema and education. The
Okay.
Rossier School of Education there would be. I mean, I think we put it in general places.
Yeah.
And they find us like Sparta High School did, found us from Twitter. I love that. I love that. And so, Jack, also coming to you for the business lead area, we have been working with social media and publicity. That's great. Strategy, it would be great if we, I think right now we're trying to fill these, and then the next step is to get the funding. Are we have our milestones been clear? I think we need to set those milestones a little more clearly. I know we have them, but I think that I stopped putting them up there on my own. I think we need to all three arrive at those and make sure that the goals are sliced enough, they're small enough, and that we're reaching those goals, rather than when we get the money, we'll hire the next people. That's too far in advance. So if you and I could have a 15-minute moment on those milestones, we could probably list a few of those. Should we go there now? I want to.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the milestones very quick.
I have to get off in 6 minutes for sure. Okay.
Okay. I think, Dee Dee, let's look at the milestones, and then we could say goodbye. And then Jack and I can talk about marketing and contacting Tom Bedecaray and how we'll dig into his world.
And we haven't talked about tomorrow's meeting yet either much, right? I mean.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, what we need are those 6 films on a page with the program notes. So if you could do that, Dee Dee, it's on a horizontal page.
I have a meeting at 10, by the way.
You have a meet. Okay, so we can't go to the milestones. Let's look at
Katie, do you know which 6 films you want to start off with?
Remember, I sent you those 6.
Yes.
Well, I don't actually. I want your actually. We need more social justice films in there.
Okay.
So I need your recommendations. So think about John's class, and think about French class.
Okay.
And put those up there, and think about our. So let's have 3, 6. If you can come up with a dozen of your recommendations.
Not tonight.
Can you come up with 6?
Yeah, I can try 6.
6 social justice. So I will help you on that, and I'll add to it. But
Okay.
come up with those.
Okay,
With their program notes and the image.
Okay.
And okay. All right. Here we are, September. The Schmidt is in. We have this meeting tomorrow, and it's going to be the 22nd tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. That's the CLF. Our next, well, so by the end of September, let's try and get at least 2 more of those slots filled. I think that's a very conservative. That's in September. 2 more slots. So maybe 2 per week we'd try and fill. Two every 2 weeks, so it's 1 per week. That's something worth celebrating. Okay, so I am still working on the pro forma. That's something I was hoping to get to tomorrow so that we can show them. Or tell me if it's still too early to be able to show them a spreadsheet with the 2 pricings we have. We have $250 for a single classroom and homeschool, and we have $1,000 for a full school who are using 4 or more, or 3 or more, right?
Well, I think for tomorrow they probably do want to see that, don't you think?
Yeah. So that's what.
Yeah, definitely so.
Today.
Yeah.
And so, Dee Dee, if you're looking at the working on the program, that's great. I'll get the dots off to Jean-Benoit. And Jack, our marketing strategy, thinking about Tom Bedecaret and how we would work with him to maybe we can send him an email today and ask him how he might, just based on his experiences, how they would work with us.
And then you said you partnered with another company.
Well, that's a strategy with Coursera, for instance. How would we work with Coursera?
Oh, okay. Well, the company you sent me on LinkedIn, you said you were thinking of partnering with them.
Oh, golly.
Let me look at it again.
Yeah, tell me who it is. It's not coming to mind right now. Okay. In the task list, remember our task list? Just list, here's the task sheet. Just list what you are doing and the dates assigned, so today, and when you're completing it. So then we can keep that up. And
the Joy Club.
The Joy Club. Joy Club.
That's what you said me. Program partner is what you said.
Okay. I will look at that too. Again, I have to refresh. I'll look that up. It's coming back to me a little bit. That's good. Okay, 9:50 mine. Thanks, y'all. Thanks.
Okay.
Here we go. I'll check in. And let me know how you're doing with that program sheet, Dee Dee. Jack, let me know how you're doing with the market strategy sheet at the end of the evening, and we'll put that together, and I'll make sure that I get a note out to the ladies to see if we can shift back a half an hour tomorrow. Half an hour.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Good meeting. Thank you.